Stop and Shop Auto Sales presents the Coach Chris Smelley Show, head coach of the Sylacauga Aggies. And Coach, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Nothing like a nice train to just kind of disrupt things early in the morning.
I tell you, just come to get used to it living in Sylacauga, right?
There you go. There you go. Well, Coach Bryant used to say the hay's in the barn, the hay's been baled in the barn, and all we got to do now is play the game, and we're ready to go tomorrow night. What we're looking like?
Yeah, we're ready to go. I mean, nowadays you do so much. You get done with spring training, and you roll right into the summer, and you're going pretty much wide open all summer. And now we've had 2.5 weeks of fall camp, and kind of get tired of hitting yourselves, and we're ready to go. Our guys have worked hard.
Any surprises so far?
I don't know. I guess find out tomorrow night. But we've got a kind of a smaller junior-senior class, so not as many upperclassmen as maybe you'd like or be used to.
So how many seniors
got some
we
good
have?
groups coming up. We got 15 seniors,
Okay.
11 juniors, and then got a lot coming up in our 9th and 10th grade groups. So, but we're excited about it. The Aggies have been working hard, and our coaching staff's done a good job getting prepared, and we're ready to go play some football.
Speaking of coaching staff, any changes from last year?
Now, we're pretty similar to the group that we brought in last year. I mean, thankfully, we were able to add a lot of guys this past year to really beef up our staff. And so our only addition was another Sylacauga native, Lane Strickland, is coaching with us. So that gives us 3 Stricklands coaching at Sylacauga, and he's doing a great job.
How important is it, Coach, that you get the right mix of coaches to help you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, when the way that I like to have it, I like to have a coach at every position. And so we've got a few community coaches, guys that work other jobs that come in and coach in the afternoon. But then we've also got 6 or 7 guys that are in the school. And so, putting those pieces together sometimes are hard. I feel very blessed to have a great staff of guys that get to work with every day.
Central Sylacauga County tomorrow night in Hanover, kick at 7 o'clock. Let's begin with the Aggie offense, start in the backfield. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, our quarterback heading into this season, C.J. Franklin. He'll be a junior, and he got some playing time last year when our senior quarterback, Connor Twyman, was kind of battling some injuries and different things, and he stepped up and played really well. Played great in some clutch situations. And so I think he's primed for a good year this year.
What are his strengths?
He's a great athlete, really good basketball player, knows how to distribute the ball and drive, and got some good quickness, and so he kind of carries that over to the football field as well. And we look for him to be able to make some plays even when things go wrong offensively, and kind of fix things in some ways. Got 2 seniors at running back that are going to probably carry the majority of the duty, Rance Matchin and Carmelo Kelly.
Matchin's been there for 10 years
yeah,
at least.
I know he's ran the ball a lot. I think he even might have got some real carries when he was like a freshman or sophomore. I know as a sophomore he did a lot. And so those 2 guys have been working hard. And got 3 senior offensive linemen that started last year as juniors. And so we're, ready to go.
Offensive line, I don't care how good a quarterback you got or running backs, you got to have an offensive line that block, and it's good to have 3 veterans there.
Yeah, if you look at our group, we're not the biggest offensive line, but got some guys that are some pretty good athletes, and so we'll see how they mesh and gel together. That's a unit. You got to kind of have a team within a team with your offensive line, and then defensively, we're replacing a lot of guys. Probably our strongest group defensively is our linebacker core. Got a few guys returning from this past year.
Who are they?
So we got Nolan Gordon at linebacker, Katie Cannon at linebacker. Both those guys are seniors. And then a real solid 10th grader, Lionel Chanot, also playing linebacker. So a lot of new faces on our D-line, a lot of new faces in our secondary, but some guys that also got some playing time last year.
Well, Sylacauga opens against Central Coosa County tomorrow night. Hadn't played Central in quite a while, and don't know a whole lot about Central. I know that they've changed coach. Coach Flowers is down there now, and this will be a night, Coach. I guess it's called 0 week, that you go in, have a plan, and have to adjust the plan as you go along, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly kind of adds a little bit to the monotony of preparing for a game, and it's a first game with a new coach and a new team where you don't have any film. You don't quite, install a game plan as much as you would once you start getting film against teams later in the season. And so for us, a lot of it's just kind of our bread and butter, the things that we've been practicing all summer, offensively and defensively, and then you get in there and make adjustments as you need to.
Special teams.
We've got a really good kicker, Ethan Pruitt, kicked for us last year, and he'll handle pretty much all of our kicking duties. And so, in these early games, special teams can make a huge difference in, are you making mistakes in special teams, or are you really taking advantage of opportunities? Injuries
in camp to speak of?
No, we're pretty healthy, heading into this season, and like probably most coaches would say, we need to stay healthy, So our depth, and especially in some certain areas, is pretty thin, and so we're hoping and praying for a good, healthy year.
Coach Chris Smelley, the head football coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, taking on Central Coosa County, the Cougars, in Hanover tomorrow night. Kick at 7 o'clock. Talk about, Coach, for a couple more minutes, your coaching philosophy.
I would consider myself. I try to coach from a positive side. I coach hard, and I like to be very demanding and hold our guys to a high standard. But to not come across as demeaning, you're not going to hear any yelling and cussing from any of our coaches. We don't accept that at all on our staff, or really from our players. And so, that's I don't think that's necessary to me. It's kind of like, you're maybe not able to articulate and coach well enough if that's what you're having to resort to. But we really try to push and challenge our guys, and I've been very impressed with our group since I got here this past year on the amount of football that they are able to kind of take in. There really hasn't been a point to where I felt like I was giving them too much and they couldn't absorb it and couldn't take it. And so we spend a lot of time with them, kind of installing how we're going to do things on both sides of the ball, and our guys have really responded and taken on a lot.
Not necessarily against Central Coosa County, but overall the first 3 or 4 games of the season, what would you like to see this Aggie football team, and what level would you like to see them perform?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I'm going to look for is our toughness and our aggressiveness. I'd rather us make mistakes being overly aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, with our offensive line maybe selling out and being, being too physical. And even if I, miss my guy or whatever, I want us to be aggressive and play physical and tough.
Is there a young man, a player that maybe from last year to this year he's caught your eye and you said, wow, such improvement, and that's what you're looking for with all your players, but maybe 1 or 2 have just stepped out there and said, Coach, I'm ready to go this year?
We've had a number of guys like that. I'm really interested to see how KD Cannon, a senior linebacker, plays for us this year.
What size is he?
He probably weighs 200 pounds or so, probably 5'10", 200. But he's strong, athletic, has worked hard to prepare himself. And then we got a couple of question marks on our offensive line to see. Still almost really competing in this first game for who's gonna get the majority of the reps throughout the year. Yeah. A couple of younger guys competing for some spots, and so I hope our guys go into this season feeling prepared. They've worked hard in the weight room. We've really pushed them and challenged them in that area. And so, there's really no substitute for strength. So we've gotten stronger, and hopefully that carries over.
Speaking of strength, you got a brand new weight room in there now. That thing looks good, man.
Yes, very excited about that. That's huge for our athletic programs,
and not just for the football team either.
Yeah, all of our athletes are going to have that available to them to be able to use, and it's a much larger space, and we could pretty much work out a team of 70 guys all at once if we wanted to. But everything in there is brand new. We knocked out some walls and opened up our space and made it bigger, and it was something that was really needed. our field house space itself is great. We've got a large field house. We just needed some little TLC, and our superintendent and school board and people saw the need and really invested into it, and it's going to pay dividends for us.
I guess you did see me pumping that 35-pound bar the other day, didn't you?
I mean, it's no substitute for strength, right?
Chris Smelley, the head football coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, our guest. Sylacauga on the road to Central Coosa County, and get your tickets and be a part, support the Aggies. Our home openers next week, and so we'll be back with you, Coach Smelley, every week here on Coach's Corner, brought to you by Stop and Shop Auto Sales. Coach, good luck tomorrow night, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
More daybreak right after this.